Well, we've got Sunday Night Football. It is the Vikings and the Seahawks, and I've got Vikings All-Pro linebacker Eric Kendricks with me today. Eric, thanks so much for doing this. I know at this point you got to go against Russell Wilson, and as everyone knows, the story with Russell Wilson, he has not received a single MVP vote. I think at this point it's part of his official title. It's Russell. I have not received a single MVP vote. Wilson, you're a quarter of the way through the season. If you had to vote for MVP right now, would you give it to Russell Wilson?
I'm going Dalvin, man. I'm going with my guy for sure. I don't know what's going. Obviously I've seen the film on Russell. He's been doing great, but yeah. I mean, I've been on the sideline with Dalvin, and I've seen him, make these crazy runs and just run with his heart. You know what I mean? So I'm going with my guy.
All right, well, let's stay with Dalvin then, because in your position, you played against the best running backs in the game. Where does Dalvin separate himself?
That's crazy because I was just thinking about this the other day. I was just like, man, obviously what I think as far as the back rankings and who's, the best, and everyone brings something different to the table. But, I mean, I practice against Dalvin, so I know what kind of skill set he has, but I've never really played against him in the game. And just from an observer on the outside looking in, on the sideline, I would, he got it all,
Well, let's bring it back to Russell Wilson because he's been locked in the first part of the season. Russell Wilson comes out of the huddle, comes up to the line of scrimmage. He's under center. He's surveying the scene. What is going through your head, and what are you looking for?
First and foremost, just find out the formation. Probably get a grasp of the splits that's going on. Sometimes he's in the gun, sometimes he's under center. So you have two different kinds of styles of play they like to go with. So that's the first thing I'm probably looking for when I see him either under center or in the gun.
Well, let's talk about your quarterback, Kirk Cousins, a guy with some skills, but a guy who I would also say, as a middle-aged dad, he throws out some middle-aged dad vibes. Give me something I don't know about Kirk Cousins that you know as his teammate.
Man, Kirk. He knows, I always tell this to everybody, but Kirk knows a lot about a lot. So whether you're talking about cars, whether you're talking about politics, whether you're talking about, geography and landscape, or you just random things, he'll know a lot about a lot. He knows he can talk about anything.
This is a team right now that obviously didn't get off to the start that you wanted to get off to, dealing with injuries on defense. And I think the situation, I'm sure. It's been brought to your attention at some point, teams that start 0-3, obviously it's stacked up against that team to eventually make the playoffs. One more playoff spot, though, this year. Why is this Vikings team a team that can overcome an 0-3 start?
Man, we're just working every day. It hasn't, even though our record was, not favorable at the beginning of the season and, it still isn't. I feel like the way we attack our work and the way we attack our preparation has been, A1. We have a solid foundation here in Minnesota, and we're just going to rely on that. There's a lot of things we can't control, but especially at this moment. But we can't control, the now. So that's what we're going to do, and we're just going to keep working.
Yeah, certainly one of the things that's been difficult to control within the NFL right now is obviously COVID-19. I think it was inevitable. We knew at some point it was going to have some kind of a disruption impact on the season. You guys were kind of caught right in the middle of the storm there. You played the Titans, then right after, several members of their team and their staff, they test positive. So your facility gets shut down. You're back to the virtual meetings. You're back to the testing and then waiting for those results. I'm curious from the player's standpoint, what's the communication like? What's the messaging like in the locker room as a leader to some of the other players in dealing with COVID-19?
There's been hoops that we've had to jump through. Obviously, everything changes, day by day, depending on the situation. It's a little bit frustrating at times, not gonna lie, especially when we're used to doing things a certain way. But I feel like the whole world is kind of going through the same kind of issue. So we got to take a step back and realize, hey, we are able to work. A lot of people are out of work right now. We are able to, come here and as a team, whether things are different or not, and we just gotta roll with the punches and just think of it in that way. We got to be grateful at the end of the day that we have this opportunity and take advantage of it.
We want to see you continue to work. The fans definitely want to see you continue to work. Now, some people put it out there that if this season is going to get to the finish line, that maybe at some point it's going to have to go into a bubble type situation. I don't think they're talking about an NBA bubble or the NHL bubble where it's in one or two cities, but maybe it's players quarantining in a hotel the entire time. Would you sign on going forward to do any kind of a bubble situation?
I'm just going to listen to what my team has to say. We already, are very, very conscious of what's going on around the league, and we take precaution, and we have ongoing steps that are, whether it's getting more strict with how we quarantine or, going straight home, avoiding restaurants, things like that. But I'm going to take it as it rolls. I'm not going to just sit here and say, but I'm just here to play. So I'm going to do whatever I'm asked.
Well, you mentioned that, you're happy to be able to work, and obviously there's some people who were, really affected by COVID-19. Listen, there are people who have died, but there are also plenty of people who are now out of work as a result of it. But I thought it was interesting that you've been raising money for local food banks, you've been selling art, some of your paintings, and then matching that money and putting it out there. How long have you been painting? How would you describe your artistic style?
Honestly, I don't know. I really went into painting this as organically, just kind of just having fun on my free time, a way to get my mind off things at times and just relax. And I really didn't want to go into selling them or anything like that. But I don't know. One day I was just at home and I was painting, and I was like, man, usually we're doing a lot of philanthropy and stuff in the off season, especially in the springtime. And I really had no way of being in personal contact with anything. So I just thought about, I don't know, maybe I'll just sell it and see how it goes. And, some of my friends started getting involved really quickly, and some fans as well. And so far the support has been great. Like I said, I'm not trying to sit here and claim that I'm, all great, but I like to have fun with it. And I do enjoy it.
So this isn't a retirement plan.
No, I'm going to see where it takes me. I like it. So I'm going to keep having fun with it. And then whatever happens. When
did you start painting?
I went to art school growing up, Bullard Talent. Shout out to Bullard Talent. Mm-hmm. It was, we had to either, play an instrument, act in a play. We had dance, and we had to paint, and whether that was graphic design, whether it was actually watercolors, we did clay. I mean, it was so great for me at the time, and I had I kind of took it for granted in that moment, you know what I mean? And as I got older, I got away from that. I got into sports. I really wanted to play sports, and high school, college went by, and then I was in the off season one day, and I was just like, man, I just feel like I want to make something or create something. So I just started, getting some cheap art supplies and filling my house, just making a mess everywhere, and started having fun with it.
Put it out there. Where can people go to see your work?
Probably just my Instagram, honestly. If I make something, sometimes I post it. Sometimes I just keep it to myself. But yeah, it's been fun.
All right. You got to go on that Instagram, check it out. There's some great paintings on there. You've been a leader on the social justice front as well. And I want to take you back, a few months ago, when the league, Roger Goodell, first issued their statement on all this. You were far from satisfied with that statement. You wanted to see really actual steps going forward. You put out a tweet. There was a picture of what would look like the NFL shield, and it said on it, "We want answers." We're into October. Do you feel like we're getting these answers?
Yeah, I just wanted them to acknowledge and just kind of make steps forward. I feel like it was trying to, play it safe in a sense. And I feel like as soon as we all recognize these are real issues that are happening in our communities, in a lot of people's communities within the locker room, we can start to, have this dialogue, and, whether, obviously financial gifts are great, and, things like that. But as long as we're having the communication, and we're all starting to have this awareness, we can start to, maybe help out or lend our hand, lend our resources, whether that's TV coverage or whatever, to these causes, because I think it's important. And these are things that we've been dealing with for a long time.
Yeah. And you've been very active. I mean, you're a guy, you talk the talk, but you really walk the walk when it comes to this as well. Take me back, last few months, what's been the most eye-opening experience for you?
A few things, as I've been, helping out in the community, one thing that I've kind of gravitated towards is like the juvenile detention centers and just a company called All Square who deals with people who are on probation and fighting the probation trap. So just the whole justice system in how it plays a role in people's lives so early at times. You know what I mean? And I feel like when I was young, I made mistakes and things like that, and we can all relate. And I couldn't imagine that one of those mistakes, that I made would dictate the rest of my life, for my whole life. So just my perspective has changed on things, and I want to just try to help out with that as much as I can. And so far, that's what I've been probably the most involved with at the time.
Eric, I really appreciate your time, your honesty today, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.